Good evening, I'm Roger, and welcome to NFL Trending. Tonight, we dive deep into one of the most talked about stories in the NFL, the situation surrounding former Colorado Buffaloes star Shedeur Sanders, now a member of the Cleveland Browns. Once hailed as one of college football's brightest young quarterbacks, Shedeur now finds himself at a crossroads in his early professional career. Reports from across the league suggest that several analysts and former players are urging Shedeur Sanders to avoid what's being described as an overly bold move, a decision that could have serious consequences for his long-term NFL future. A promising start with rising pressure. Shedeur Sanders entered the 2025 NFL season carrying a tremendous amount of hype. As the son of Hall of Famer Deion, Coach Prime, Sanders' expectations were sky-high from the moment he declared for the draft. After an electric college career at the University of Colorado, where he shattered passing records and led the Buffaloes through a dramatic football renaissance, many believed Shedeur would become a first-round selection. But the NFL draft didn't go quite as planned. Sanders slipped to the later rounds, eventually being selected by the Cleveland Browns, a move that shocked both fans and insiders. Analysts cited concerns about his adjustment to NFL speed, his pocket decision-making, and the off-field attention that comes with being part of the Sanders family brand. Once in Cleveland, Shedeur entered a quarterback room filled with uncertainty. The Browns' starting role was initially in flux following the trade of veteran Joe Flacco. Many believed this was an open door for Sanders to make an early statement and seize the backup position behind Dillon Gabriel, another rookie quarterback competing for snaps. However, as training camp and preseason unfolded, it became clear that Sanders would have to wait his turn. Head coach Kevin Stefanski has praised his work ethic, but stopped short of confirming his position on the depth chart, a silence that has fueled intense speculation about the team's plans for the young quarterback. The controversy: too much too soon? In recent weeks, a growing number of analysts have warned Shedeur to avoid pushing for an immediate role or making demands about his future. They argue that any attempt to pressure the Browns or force a move could backfire. ESPN's Ryan Clark was among the first to speak out, saying that while Shedeur possesses undeniable talent, he must understand the delicate balance between confidence and recklessness. According to Clark, when a young quarterback comes into the league with a big name and big expectations, the worst thing he can do is act like he's already arrived. The league humbles you fast. That comment came amid speculation that Sanders might seek a trade or release if he's not designated as the Browns' primary backup. Some pundits even suggested that Sanders and his camp are frustrated with how slowly the Browns are moving to integrate him into the offense. Meanwhile, veteran NFL agent David Cantor told Fox Sports that Sanders should play the long game. Cantor's message was simple: you don't demand your role, you earn it. Shedeur needs to stay patient, develop behind the scenes, and prove his value the right way. The NFL is watching every move he makes. Off-field pressure and public perception. Adding to the complexity of the situation are the off-field narratives that continue to follow Sanders. Earlier this year, reports surfaced of two speeding violations, one clocked at 91 miles per hour and another at 101, incidents that raised questions about his maturity. The Browns' front office publicly called the behavior not smart, and it drew criticism from fans who felt that Sanders needed to show more discipline. Then came a viral moment that didn't help his public image. After not being named the starter during preseason, Sanders responded to a reporter with silence and a smirk, a gesture that went viral across social media. While some viewed it as confidence, others saw it as immaturity. Former NFL linebacker Emmanuel Acho labeled it childish and warned that the optics could harm his reputation in league circles. Even Hall of Fame running back Dickerson chimed in, suggesting the Browns should consider cutting Sanders if they don't intend to commit to his development. Dickerson argued that Cleveland has a history of mismanaging young quarterbacks, and that staying in such an unstable environment could hurt Sanders' confidence and career trajectory. Deion Sanders' influence. Of course, whenever Shedeur Sanders' name is mentioned, his father's shadow looms large. Deion Sanders, one of the greatest athletes to ever play the game, has been both his biggest supporter and his toughest critic. As head coach at Colorado, Deion molded Shedeur into a confident leader, often describing him as built for pressure. But the NFL is a different animal. Multiple commentators, including Stephen A. Smith, have pointed out that Shedeur must carve out his own identity. "This isn't college anymore," Smith said. "The name Sanders gets you attention, but it doesn't get you wins. He's got to prove that he's more than primetime's son, that he's his own man." While Deion Sanders has publicly stated he's proud of his son's growth, insiders say he's also privately advised Shedeur to remain patient and avoid letting emotion dictate his career decisions. The Browns' dilemma. The Cleveland Browns now find themselves in a challenging position. On one hand, they have a talented young quarterback with star potential. On the other, they must manage expectations, both internally and externally. Coach Stefanski's cautious approach may be intended to protect Sanders from early criticism, but it's also created uncertainty. Fans in Cleveland are divided. Some want to see Shedeur get playing time immediately, arguing that his college production and charisma make him worth the gamble. Others believe he should sit, learn, and mature before being thrust into the spotlight. The Browns' offense, led by a revamped line and new playbook, has room for growth. But for now, the team is prioritizing stability, something they've lacked for years. And stability often means patience, something that may not align perfectly with the urgency surrounding the Sanders brand. What's next for Shedeur Sanders? So what should Shedeur do next? The consensus among experts is clear. He needs to take a step back, breathe, and focus entirely on development. The NFL isn't about moments, it's about consistency. And while the spotlight may tempt him to make a big move, restraint might be the smartest play of his career. If Sanders stays the course, continues learning under Stefanski's system, and waits for his moment, he could position himself as the future of the Browns franchise. If he rushes things or creates friction within the organization, he risks being labeled difficult, a reputation that can follow a young player for years. Every great quarterback has faced adversity early in their career. Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith. Aaron Rodgers waited 3 years behind Brett Favre. For Shedeur Sanders, this could be his version of that waiting game, an opportunity to grow, mature, and be ready when the opportunity finally arrives. Final thoughts. Shedeur Sanders has the arm, the charisma, and the legacy to be something special in the NFL. But he's also entering one of the most challenging stretches of his young career, one where decisions off the field could be just as impactful as what happens on it. Analysts are right to urge caution. The Browns may not yet know exactly what they have in Shedeur, but if he avoids bold, emotional decisions and focuses on becoming a better quarterback each day, his NFL story could still unfold exactly the way he and his father imagined. This is a defining chapter, not the end. I'm Roger, and this has been NFL Trending. Stay tuned for more updates, analysis, and insider stories from across the league.